At 11:40 p.m. on April 14, 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg. At the time, it was one of the largest and most luxurious passenger ships ever built. It was carrying more than 2,200 people on its maiden voyage from Southampton to New York, and many believed the ship was extraordinarily safe. But within just a few hours, it would be at the bottom of the Atlantic.
The Titanic left Southampton on April 10, 1912. Over the next few days, the ship crossed the North Atlantic. But there was a growing danger ahead. Ice. Titanic's wireless operators received several warnings about icebergs and dangerous ice conditions. Yet, the ship continued through the night at a high speed. Then, at approximately 11:40 p.m., a lookout spotted something directly ahead. An iceberg.
The crew reacted immediately, attempting to turn the ship away from the iceberg. But it was too late. The Titanic struck the iceberg along its starboard side. The collision did not simply create one enormous hole. Instead, the impact caused damage along the ship's hull, allowing seawater to enter several watertight compartments. And that was the real problem. The Titanic could remain afloat with some compartments flooded, but not enough of them. As more water entered, the ship's bow gradually sank lower into the ocean. Engineers and crew members began realizing that the situation was becoming catastrophic. At around 12:40 a.m., the first lifeboat was launched. But there was another terrible problem. There were not enough lifeboat seats for everyone aboard. Titanic carried 20 lifeboats, enough for roughly 1,178 people, far fewer than the total number of passengers and crew. Some lifeboats also left the ship without being completely filled. Meanwhile, distress signals were being sent into the night. Ships nearby received Titanic's calls for help. One of them was the Carpathia, but it was still hours away. As the night continued, panic and confusion spread. More lifeboats were lowered into the freezing Atlantic. And then, shortly after 2 a.m., the final lifeboats left the ship. At approximately 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, Titanic disappeared beneath the surface. More than 1,500 people died. Only about 700 survived. Hours later, the Carpathia arrived and rescued the survivors from the lifeboats. But the disaster raised a question that would remain for generations. How could a ship considered so advanced have been lost so quickly? Investigations pointed to multiple factors, not one single mistake. The speed through an ice region, the warnings, the ship's design, the limited lifeboat capacity, and the evacuation itself all became part of the story. The Titanic was not destroyed by one dramatic mistake.
It was a chain of decisions, circumstances, and failures that came together on one freezing night. And perhaps the most haunting part is this. The Titanic's voyage lasted less than 4 days, but its final night changed maritime safety forever. More than a century later, the Titanic still lies deep beneath the Atlantic. And the question remains, could the Titanic disaster have been prevented?